welcome to the replay of the round 16 AFL clash from Etihad Stadium between 7th and 11th on the AFL ladder. The Blues, with Brendan Favola coming off a 9-goal performance, 55 for the year and back in form, the Fev, and led by the one and only Chris Judd, up against the Sydney Swans, who bring in first gamer Daniel Hanbury, still at school but gets a chance to play an AFL game. They've got Jolly in the ruck, an All-Australian contender, and Jesse White up forward after kicking 11 and 8 goals in the past 2 weeks in the reserves, hoping for a big one against the Blues. Let's go to the action. Underway here in this round 16 clash, and it is the number 16 Jolly against Cruiser, gets the palm down. McVeigh back in after missing last week with hamstring tightness. Judd, Fisher, Simpson ridden a little. Kirk got away with it, and Bird throws it wide to McVeigh, but they want to go backwards to go forward here by the looks of things.
Gibbs running with Goods, and Goods running hard, really working his way forward into the game.
Shaw, Grundy, Craig Bolton, all getting a touch. Craig Bolton slides this one poorly straight to Betts.
He had the loose player on, Nick Smith out wide too, and just completely missed him, Craig Bolton.
And just off the bench, Bevan came on quickly, couldn't affect the spoil on Simpson. Heads wide, Houlihan, maybe kickable from there. Tucked into the gutter. Crowd still finding their seats as we speak. Just the 9 goals this year for Ryan Houlihan, but 108 career-wise, but he doesn't have the shot. The Sydney Swans getting numbers back, all the way back to Chris Johnson with the pass. Now a little wider, a quick look around, and the mark's taken by Russell, who can launch a long ball.
Yeah, it was good vision by Chris Johnson. He just held the ball up, waiting for a few players to run into space. They had numbers back, Sydney, but Jordan Russell just found a little pocket. Now, he's not a lot closer than where we saw Houlihan before, but he was on a better angle. Didn't fancy his chances.
And he hands it to Simpson, who does bang it long into the square. Cruiser got a hand on it, but no more than that. The first score of the day. Roof shut here at Etihad Stadium. They did predict a little rain later on.
We just saw Simpson having that shot from just outside the 50-metre zone, Jason. Without question, players that can kick over 50 metres are going to be so invaluable in the coming era, because it's a more efficient shot, or a more high chance shot, than trying to thread your way through the zone.
Well, Maitland tried to thread his way through there, lost possession. Kirk back again, Bevan, McVeigh, Grundy, they get out of trouble, back to Shaw. Sorry, guys.
Now, what it does do, Jared, is it opens up more scoring opportunities.
Like Stewie Jew, for instance, was just phenomenal in his ability to convert.
So, the free kick against the man who was in late, Adam Hartlett, play on advantage, goal square. And you can make your own argument as to whether that was advantage or not. Ablett back, Lachlan with a snap, gets some sky, it drifts a little. Kirk almost on the line. Joseph seeks the line. Judd keeps it alive, gets it wide. Simpson, Bauer, not yet out of trouble. Corral, Johnson, Goods has got him. Did he have prior? No.
He didn't have. It was a hospital hand pass.
It was.
So Jude Bolton going for the ball, and Adam Hartlett
taken high.
A fair bump.
No, he got 2 fists in the face.
Oh, please.
From the ball up. I like a good argument early.
You're going soft in your old age,
You need glasses, clearly. Just going back to that last handball, Jason, the receiver didn't have priority, but he was given a 2-metre handball by one of his teammates. Surely the AFL has got to look at priority and talk about it in terms of team rather than individuals.
Pushing the back free there, Cade Simpson. I start to worry when I start agreeing with you, Jared, but I think I'm with you on that one. Cade Simpson, back pocket.
I'm just not sure why you can give a 2-metre handball and not incur any penalty at all.
So Hartlett long towards Fisher. Appeared to have an arm knocked slightly, not enough to receive an arm slap free as he was attempting a mark, and will get a ball up. So those late changes, Adam Hartlett in and Jamison out for Carlton as we see this attempted mark, and Bevan and Ablett in for the Swans. Pike and Malcheski out. Tucked up against the boundary. Still a hushed crowd here waiting to see who will grab the early ascendancy. Good bounce. Ball Jolly down to Kirk, to Jude Bolton, the old firm combining there. The handball back from Nick Smith, put his teammates under pressure. O'Keefe gave it back in Smith's direction. He was met high. Umpire saw it. Back to O'Keefe and now wide. Ted Richards is away here. Ton of space to use. Just depends on which one-on-one he wants. Jesse White.
Didn't get a great kick, but he's been in exciting form the last couple of weeks at reserves level. Jesse White, bags of 8 and 12, 20 goals in 2 weeks. Forced his way in, not as the second ruckman, but as the key forward.
That's twice how the Swans have got forward in the last 5 minutes, and half-back disposal has let them down.
I do like the look of the Bryce Gibbs-Adam Goods matchup, Jared. That's going to be a good one to keep an eye on throughout the course of the afternoon.
And I guess whichever player can get forward and impact on the scoreboard individually will have a fair bearing on who wins.
Greg O'Keefe, another good matchup.
And as you speak, Greg gets the kick away with the clearance. Russell pushed into the turf, or dumped by O'Keefe. Did he have prior upper? Yeah.
Well, it was a good decision because, as the umpire acknowledged, he was holding the ball up in his hands. He just didn't choose to get rid of it.
Ryan O'Keefe about to send the Swans inside 50. There it is.
Hands free.
Again, heads wide. This time, O'Loughlin on the move.
And that is the big difference. Ryan O'Keefe, one of the class acts in the competition, he delivers it on a platter for Michael O'Loughlin. So therefore, a shot at goal ensures. And that is far better football than what we saw with those last two that went wide coming off half-back.
Besides, the chip pass is a better option because the old leg doesn't kick as long as it once did, and O'Keefe will line up from 50.
I dare say he's a metre further out than actually O'Loughlin was. Slightly better angle, but O'Keefe certainly will get the journey.
Ryan O'Keefe, a Melbourne boy back home, grew up in this state, barracking for Fitzroy and idolised Paul Roos as a player, and now obviously idolises him as a coach.
Cruiser back on the line.
Not bad off the boot. Delightful. Swans get the first.
Well, I've really admired the way Ryan O'Keefe has worked his way into this season. Had a slowish start, given that he had to play a different role as the forward when O'Loughlin and Hall weren't playing for the Swans early in the season. And he was a little bit quiet by his own standards, playing in that different role. But since about round 4 or 5, he's moved in the middle of the ground, and he's been one of the better players for the Swans this year in a difficult season to date. Started well today.
.180 games now, Ryan O'Keefe. He is just your regular star every week, just about. Started a little slowly this season, but started to wind his way into form in the last month or so. Jolly, quick down. Bird couldn't trap it, and does get it, but he's got slung off it, dispossessed. Crowd on a ball. Houlihan gets ball, gives to Fav.
Oh, brilliant play from the Blues, and it all came about a quick clearance because the Swans couldn't get the numbers back. In fact, they did well, the Blues, to create some space for Brendan Favola. Houlihan would be like your Darren Jarman, I reckon, Jason.
Yeah, he's an exquisite kick of the football, isn't he? He's had his, I guess, detractors over the years at different stages. He just hasn't found consistency. Some have queried his attack on the footy or the physical side of his game at times, but you've got to have people that can use the ball well, and he certainly can play a vital role for the Blues.
55 for the season, 9 last week. Will he be on today? He's got his first.
Well, if he kicks goals today, it will be a match-winning performance because he's up against one of the best defenders in the business in Craig Bolton. He's strong, he's fast, he doesn't give his opponents any space whatsoever, and he's been doing it year after year. And Brendan Favola will have to work hard for his kicks. It's a beautiful kick, but a good lead straight up the corridor. That's where the best space is if he can find it, and the easiest place to actually hit a target.
Couple of loads off his mind in the last week or so. Brendan Favola, 9 goals last week, personal best, and put the gambling debt rumours to bed on the footy show during the week and denied that. Got that out of the way as well. Just concentrate on playing footy now, as he said, and concentrate on getting the Blues into the finals. They lead by behind. Secondary ball up. Hampson and Jolly. Ball not clear of the contest. Bentley ducked into that tackle, almost stripped of it, and ducked in but got the free for too high. Greg Bentley started on the bench, game number 4 for the Blues. Chips wide, Yaron. Back into the team as well this week, Yaron.
And good to see youngster Daniel Hanbury on for his first run for the match, the first game of Dwayne.
Murphy. He heads wide, Fev's on the move, got it.
She's moving well. Moving very, very well. And the thing about Fev is where a lot of forwards can lead themselves out of range of goal, Fev rarely does. And whether it's 55 metres, it doesn't matter. Whether it's on the boundary, it doesn't matter. When he's on, he'll kick them from anywhere.
We know he can kick a big number. 9 might have been his personal best last week, but he did kick 12 in that NAB Cup game, that pre-season game, New Year's Eve, Millennium game. Drifts it back and just misses to the near side. And he likes to remind everybody he did kick 15 in a game for the Berwick under 16s as well. Shaw with the kick in. Jack. Shaw.
Nice kick.
Jolly.
He's a pretty good player for the Swans. He's Shaw, really good recruit. Reece Shaw, I should say. For those Shaws that are thinking they're watching the wrong person.
Bolton back to Jolly.
Yeah, but the Blues have chopped up the space pretty well. They're making it very difficult for the Swans to play flowing football.
Heads long. White with a chance to leap. Goes hard. Crushes the contest. Can't take the mark. But at least getting his body involved. He's a big unit. Ruckman, as you said in the intro, but playing up forward today.
I was going to say, Dwayne, he's got a big physical presence. He's led well. His timing's been good. He just has been let down by those with the ball in their hand.
Quick kick out of the congestion. Bird inside 50. White was there. Vespremi was there. Goods is there. Gets it up to Vespremi. Ducks out of the tackle. Caught. Dispossessed. Scotland, another of those. Back into the Blues lineup. Lost it. White outside of the foot. Quick kick. Kirk. High and wide.
Interesting arrangement, Jared. You've got Ted Richards starting at half forward for Sydney, and then he's virtually floating behind play, playing as a spare defender. Now that leaves Brett Thornton loose for the Blues, and I don't think they'll mind that.
Good pick up Betts to Judd. Twists his way through traffic. Scotland, Judd. Okay, Favola goes down behind play. Claims he was held and pushed. No free. Ted Richards marks.
That's the man we're talking about.
Well, Thornton actually is the 3rd highest player in the league at intercepts. I don't think he's best ability is to spot up passes, but he has shown a great liking for the interception, which is a pretty vital part of the game.
And uses the ball well, so Brett Ratton won't mind him being loose.
Roberts Thompson, tough one for Barlow. He did well.
Nice kick.
Goods.
Slowly getting better at Barlow in a variety of positions.
Okay, White in a one-on-one. Goal square. Doesn't get the chance. Hampson came over the top. Hit it to the deck.
Good breakaway here for the Blues.
So Simpson to Russell. Fev's in a one-on-one. Can't get it all the way to him. Goes short to Betts. Dives. Marks.
Geez, that was good play by Jordan Russell.
So Richards in the hole for the Fev lead.
Didn't panic at all. He waited for space, looked for options in the corridor. There were none forthcoming, and then he waited for Eddie.
And Favola's on the march. He's got it.
Well, I reckon Craig Bolton will be a little bit disappointed there. He's got Ted Richards as the loose defender standing in front of Brendan Favola, but you've got to stand in a position that you can cut the lead off.
They're just one forward short, the Blues, so it would have been fantastic if Fev could have wheeled around and kicked it long to a centre-half forward or a tall forward running into the goal square where it's a one-off. Now, he is still a chance to kick this goal.
So Fev, high, goal square, pack rises and rush through for a behind.
Chance to kick it, Jason, but much higher percentage, I reckon, if there's another body down there where he could kick it to one on.
And that's where they're probably missing someone like a Jared Wade who gives them, whichever end he plays, it gives them a little bit more flexibility in playing another tall.
Roberts Thompson called the play on. Jude Bolton. So not a lot of options to go to, and gives to the number 1 bounce man in the competition, Shaw. Or just that's a little high from Fev behind play. He's getting a little angry as Reece Shaw has another running bounce. Is the AFL leader for running bounces this year. 113 of them now, and the next best is Heath Shaw with 55. So the Shaw boys dominating there.
That's a good kick.
Vez Primi, release kick. Craig Bolton to Barlow. Lead comes from O'Loughlin in his direction. Thornton, that's a better chop off. He was the man in the hole, needed to do that, and did it perfectly. Bauer.
Just when they're dangerous, we've got the quick break and Fev's in space.
Brendan Favola plays on.
Having said that, they won't mind Fev getting it there.
Cruiser.
Like I'm talking about, have Cruiser running into the goal square.
He runs onto it, runs around, falls a couple. That's a gem. Gee, the kid's good.
Well, you've spoken about him, and I think we're going to be excited about what we see in the coming years. But the thing that impressed me here, Jared, was a good kick from Fev out to space, but he had the leg speed to outrun Ted Richards.
Yep.
You have a look at Richards, he can't go with him. He cannot catch Matty Cruiser.
So they've got the advantage, but Fev was able to take advantage of his physical attributes because at the pincer movement. Fev going one way and Cruiser the next. In come the tanks.
Not sure when the last time was that a 20-year-old ruckman took his team into a final series and gave them hope. But he is a star of the future, Matthew Cruiser, if not a star right now.
It's a good finish for a big bloke. Not many ruckmen can do that.
And lay a tackle like that. Should have been rewarded with a free. Matner had prior opportunity. And he'll have to do the ruck work again, Matthew Cruiser.
Here's the tackle.
It's a good second effort. That's what you want from your big blokes. Get down and dirty.
The question is, Jason, are they better off having him in the ruck or as the second tall up forward with maybe the ruck as a secondary role?
No, I think he's too valuable as a ruckman. What he can contribute around the ground and push forward in doing so is his best role.
Look out. Did I say Cruiser was good? What about this bloke? Carlton on fire.
One of the fast break specialists from stoppages. Generally, he works the ball out with handball these days, but when he's at his very best, he works it out with his leg speed and gets on the end of it. Here we see him now, just a little flick over. Controlled it like Michael Jordan. And finished off with a great goal. Look at it, flick into space. Good shepherd there. Ryan O'Keefe can't get to the Judd, and the Judd delivers.
Not a bad analogy, that, Jared, either. He is the Jordan, the LeBron James, the Kobe, and he might take Carlton into the finals. Chris Judd from the ball up. Swans in trouble already in this game. So Ablett, late inclusion for Sydney.
Good lead.
Heads to White. He gets a chance from 45.
Now, I'll tell you what, we thought of him as a second ruckman. We saw him break into the Sydney side, and I think he was involved in an interchange infraction at one stage when the new rule came in, and more infamous than famous. But in the last couple of weeks in the reserves, he has out-muscled blokes. He's got terrific pace for a big bloke, and he's been kicking swags of goals.
Yet another tall former basketballer from the Gold Coast. Jesse White from the paint. Nice, but it's drifting a little. And squeezed it in.
This is the sort of bloke they need, Jared.
Absolutely.
Barry Hall's gone. Michael O'Loughlin's going. There's not a lot up forward. Goods, you like to play him on ball. You don't want to have him staying as a dedicated forward all the time. But a big bloke that has this sort of pace on the lead, that can take big marks, give you the bailout kick when you need it, he could prove invaluable yet to the Sydney Swans.
Well, if he can take his form from the level down to the top level, you can see he's a unit and a half and can kick.
Just game number 14 for Jesse White, third season on the list. He was a very deep pick 79 back in 2006.
And that's the only way that the Swans will be able to re-emerge without bottoming out, if they can get their selections absolutely spot on and pull the odd rabbit out of the hat and pick 79 like a Jesse White.
Well, Ricky Barham, there's a rabbit puller.
Lewis Roberts-Thompson now is the man playing loose in defence. 10 metres in front of Fev for Sydney.
Cruiser hacks it forward. Bouncing ball perhaps. No, taken in full flight by Smith.
And an impressive grab as well for a young man.
Roberts-Thompson. And over the head of Jolly.
Got to kick
Cruiser.
it better than that.
Didn't have to shut him down. The two will go at it.
And that's where Darren Jolly be disappointed, because he's got his hands full with Matty Cruiser, and if he's going to make the effort to make space, you're entitled, when you're 10 metres clear, to be hit by your teammate. Lewis Roberts-Thompson let him down.
I reckon Paul Roos would be disappointed too. Now, that's almost three out of three coming off half-back. Swans players not under pressure, not hitting targets.
All-Australian ruck contender this year, Darren Jolly. Cruiser backing into him. And they both get a palm on this one. McVeigh. What was it off his boot to Goods? Flies, got it. Takes off. Gibbs hunts him down. Hands to the square. He's got it again, White.
I tell you what, this bloke is good. His body work off the ball is fantastic. He was behind. He raced around to the front. He knew where the ball was going and then just pushed his opponent in the side. And this is where the Blues could be ruining Michael Jamieson being out.
Not a bad kick from Adam Goods as well.
Terrific kick.
Really set him up. Got away from Gibbs. Jeff Gibbs showed a little bit of an
experience. Look at the body work
there.
here. He makes early contact to put his opponent Hartlett off.
Yep.
And that's already a worrying matchup.
To cut the lead back to 2 points for his second goal of the game. Could be the White Knight.
He's all wide.
I think he's fantastic. Look, he's obviously chock full of confidence as well. When you've kicked 20 in 2 weeks at whatever level, you think, yeah, I'm marking the ball well, I'm kicking it well. And he's brought that form straight to the elite level. And if he can get kicks like this to his advantage, the long high kick where he can use his strength and size, gee, they're going to have their hands full of Carlton defence. He looks a tremendous key forward prospect.
So just repeating, Jamieson, the man who probably would have played on him. A late exclusion for Carlton, and Hartlett in, now playing at full back. 2 goals to Jesse White early. 2 points to margin. Roberts-Thompson into the ruck now. And almost the clearance to Murphy. Couldn't break free. And we might get a secondary ball up in the middle. Mark Murphy, whose father John played 23 games for the Swans, but was better known, of course, as a superstar and a 5-time best and fairest winner at Fitzroy. From the ball up. And on cue, Murphy gets the handball, but straight to Bevan, who kicks to Goods. 2 pieces of the cherry, not enough. And we'll get a ball up. You can see we're playing with the yellow ball today. Roof shut, today game. Not playing with the roof shut under lights. So yellow ball on a Saturday afternoon. They did expect a little rain today. That's why they shut the roof, and it is windy outside. It would blow the dog off a chain at the moment. So we're lucky it is shut. Shaw gets it from Ablett. A wobbler towards half forward. Thornton, good pick. High bomb. Fisher with the fly, and easy in the end. Favola's got 2 to beat. Inboard instead. Murphy, nice grab. Hamill not so good. Kirk takes on Scotland and wins. Nice little sidestep here, and Jack. And the pass perfect for White. Is he within range?
They've got a rugby league player kicking it to a basketball.
How good was the spin in the middle of the ground from Kieran Jack? He turned on a dime. Absolutely brilliant. There's the turnover with the hand pass. And have a look at that spin. Beat him cold.
Can he give the Swans the lead? A trail by 2 from outside the paint. It's low. It's wide.
Didn't hit the back.
It's ugly. No.
But that's okay, because right now the Swans know that they've got a fine, without doubt.
Yep.
A chip kick from Carazzo wide. Fisher. And he'll play his 100th game in a couple of weeks' time. Brad Fisher, game number 97 today. Murphy. All getting a feel of the leather late in this opening term. Wide ball and good effort there from Betts. He dropped the mark. Good to play on. Corralled by Smith. Spotted bother. It's out of it. Simpson lends a hand. Thumps it long.
He's having one of those quarters, Bryce Gibbs. They just ignored him twice for the handball. He has yet to touch the leather, and he's a 35-plus averager.
Good commitment, Jude Bolton, but he left the ball behind. Grigg rolls it towards attacking 50. Ted Richards, the man in the hole. Shaw.
Good pressure, Lewis.
Should have kept that ball and taken it out. Betts might make them pay. Favola might from 50. Oh, he looks like having a big day at the office. Can't squeeze that in. Carlton by 3 points.
Just as quick as you mentioned, Jared, Gibbs, they've actually swapped Thornton onto Goods now, so Gibbs can run around free and try and find some ball in this first quarter.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it, Colby? Because he was starting to look threatening in the air, Adam Goods, and Bryce Gibbs, we know, prolific ball winner, better served elsewhere.
25 minutes gone, opening term. In the shadows of quarter time. Ball on the outer side. Joe Anderson tackled, harassed, taken out, ball in. Started on the bench, Joe Anderson. That's game number 11 for him. 3 points the margin. Pensive crowd at the moment. They know the Swans are in this one. And we'll get another ball up.
Well, he's back in the same sort of area, Bryce Gibbs, but I think it makes sense to allow Thornton to pick Goods up and let Gibbs be the sweeping loose player that can set play up and rebound off half back.
Umpire calling for some space, but the tags around him disturbing him somewhat. Hampson from behind. Bauer up to Judd in traffic. Good again. Houlihan, arms free.
Rid of it.
That's probably ball. Good tackle by Shaw.
And a good start to the game as Shaw.
Bevan. Late inclusion. Heads to O'Loughlin. Too far out to score and he knows it. He wants a pass option. Goods. Twists. Turns. He's still there. Still there. O'Loughlin saying, I want to go a little closer to goal. Heads wide towards White. Off hands. Slick. Adam Goods to give them the lead. Outside of the foot. Goal square. Simpson with the fist. Wasn't a big one. Ablett shoots it up. Kirk tries to thread it through. Can't want to rush it. Free kick for Scotland. And the Blues can breathe a sigh of relief. Russell. Dangerous. Jack and Carazzo.
Well, if Carlton owned the footy for a couple of minutes when they kicked a couple, it's been robbed from them by Sydney.
White edged out of that contest. Kirk, Crum, tackle, gets it up. Ablett, kick away. Will it be 15? Punch clear by Greg. Johnson, Anderson, Russell, little fumble. Back to Anderson. Out of trouble, but it might be temporary. Back to Anderson again from Carazzo. Caught, hands and knees, searching for the boundary. McVeigh obliges. We'll get a ball in with 1:11 left on the clock.
Jason, the Swans have totally dominated this match for the last 8 minutes.
Yeah, and they've actually started to look extremely dangerous the way they're transferring the ball going forward. And I think Jesse White's given them a lot of confidence and direction as they set up. With Goods and White playing in the key forward posts, they look a lot better structured heading forward.
Ball travelled out. We'll get a ball in. 1 minute left on the clock. Carlton by 3 points.
Of course, what
Brennan Favoli, you saw having a rest.
Yep, what it does do with Goods playing forward is it puts a lot of pressure on the other midfielders for Sydney to carry their load against a star-studded engine room for the Blues.
Jolly and Hampson win at the ruck contest. Hampson wins it, the secondary option. Now a wobbler, and Johnson's kick finds the target. Yaron, no Fev to go to. Eddie Betts will do. Good fist. Well played there. Good fist away by Smith, and then he half took him down.
Terrific effort, Nick Smith.
And he'll get it back from Craig Bolton. Smith to Bird. So the young Swans combining. Craig Bolton. Bird. Smith with some poise. White. Pluck. Strong hands there.
He's got some confidence going at the moment.
O'Loughlin calls for it long. This might be the last roll of the dice for the quarter.
But the kid Smith's done it right across our back a couple of times.
Against Eddie Betts, one hour has been good, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And just game number 7 as well for Nick Smith. So the second's running down. They won't attempt a long kick and mark inside 50. For a team behind, they'd be reasonably happy with the scoreline at quarter time. The Sydney Swans 7th versus 11th on the AFL ladder. Both these teams hoping for September action, and the Blues lead by 3. 3-4-22. Sydney 3-1-19. Hampson starting in the ruck for Carlton for this second term, and he'll have another chance to go at it against Jolly.
Well, just having a look now, it looks like Adam Goods is following Gibbs around. They want Thornton to be the loose man.
Well, as soon as the bounce was complete, Richards, Thornton's man, went loose in defence, and now Thornton again loose for the Blues.
Jolly with the direct palm down, but not to a teammate, so he'll have to do it again. Umpire Schmidt.
I reckon a player is going to get a couple of weeks shortly for running into an umpire, because it's the players aren't listening.
There's already been a player get 1 week for it. So the second suspension to set the example not far. McVeigh, Goods, handball smothered by Judd. Goods, second effort just as good. Jack coming off a spectacular first term. That kick, not all that attractive. Thornton liked the look of it. Gives to Greg. Carazzo. So Hartlett bangs it long. Betts. Tucked away from him by Smith, who's having a good game as well. Russell on hands and knees. Can't break free with it. Eddie Betts keeps his feet, now falls. Ball threaded through to Goods. He was caught. Quick fire handballs from Shaw. And the umpire Schmidt will sort it out again.
Well, once again, we see the umpire telling them to get out of the way. And there's one, and then he redid it. And he got crunched a second time with everybody running forward with the
same
footy.
pair, Paul Bevan chasing Cade Simpson.
So free against Jolly, it'll go to Hampson. Surprised everyone there. Judd surprised with that smother, although Kieran Jack, he's hard to get around, and he gets a touch here. Back to Kirk, heads wide, Ablett in a one-on-one, takes the mark. O'Loughlin with some space to lead into, looks up, Ablett ignores the initial lead. Short. And O'Keefe, strong hands.
Winning a lot of the ball around the packs at the moment, the Swans. Contested footy was their strength.
Well, umpire got in the way.
Been one of their weaknesses this year, but today they're right on top of the Blues, 34-24.
Umpire Schmidt filling the hole there. Rugby league umpire last night copped the knee to the back of the head. They carted him off on the stretcher for getting in the way. From the ball up. Greg. Again, just stumps it out of the area. Richards misread that. Should have swallowed that. Carazzo back in. Scotland, look out. He might go the whole way. No one's in the square. Knows it. Sends it long. Roberts Thompson. Last line of defence.
I reckon Paul Roos will be breathing a sigh of relief after that effort from Ted Richards. You're the loose player in defence, and he's run underneath the ball, let it get behind him, and it nearly cost his team a goal.
Smith to Craig Bolton, to the running bounce specialist, Reece Shaw. Add another 4 to his list.
I think Ted Richards might be sighing with relief as well, Jason.
He's loose again here in the corridor if he can get on the end of it.
Smith, Richards peeling back to allow some space for Craig Bolton. And now O'Loughlin might get a jump at this. Doesn't. Thornton in the hole. Good strong grab. Body on the line.
He lost the footy there, Adam Goods. He needed to have a better effort than that one.
Need to contest. His man just stood there tall. Stood tall, marked the ball.
Murphy to Favola all the way down to a half-back flank to get a touch. Low trajectory kick. Greg.
Good running Murphy. Got burnt, but it was good running anyway.
Cruiser. Oh, how's that for a pluck?
That's how you beat the loose man in defence. 1 against 2. LRT was his direct opponent. You had Craig Bolton, who dropped off Brendan Favola as he went up the ground, coming from the front. LRT from behind, and look at this for a grab.
As much
Long
as he's
arms,
a great
strong
ruckman,
grab.
Jason, I reckon that's going to be his greatest value to the Blues, where he's down there doing that.
Well, his accuracy rate last season, when he kicked 13-1 for the year, said that he was a forward in the making. He's kicked 8-7 this year. Hasn't been quite as accurate, but he can still drill them.
Even his misses go through. Must be a great challenge for them at selection, Jason, given that they've got a number of ruck options. They could bring Cameron Cloak in as a second ruckman if you like. They go and recruit another ruckman. But when you've got a Favola and this bloke, two very different types of players, it makes for a very, very difficult forward line to match up on. And I reckon if they do make September, if they want to create some damage, that'll be their structure.
I think Brett Ratton's thinking the same as you, Jared. Brendan Favola kicked 9 of Carlton's 18 last week.
Yep.
And there were virtually 9 single goal scorers around Brendan Favola's 9.
I guess the length of time he plays as a forward cruiser will depend on the form of Hampson and Cloak and these sort of blokes in the ruck.
O'Keefe, manhandled.
Of course, they got Warnock coming, but he's been coming for a while. They recruited him for that role. He's a big kid. He's put on a lot of bulk. I've got no doubt that next year we're going to see Hampson and Warnock rucking and Favola and Cruiser forward.
Welcome to football, Daniel Hanbury, the first gamer. There he is again. He was tackled himself seconds ago and just laid one to help the turnover. Goods out wide, might turn it back. Oh, Joseph bounced over his head. Jude Bolton wraps up Scotland. Gee, got an enormous amount of time.
You're right, Dwayne. Very generous, the umpire.
Goods dives in. Good effort. Here he is again. Big tackle by Murphy. Dumps him to the deck. Daniel Hanbury. Everybody comes. Goods gives him a pat on the back. Well played the first game.
Nice work, Hanbury.
Like it.
He's wearing Lockett's old number 4. There's a bit of Tony still in it. Ball up. Murphy, a wobbler to half forward. Of course, Ben Matthews wore it for a while as well between Lockett and Hanbury. Is sure. Bump. Not deliberate, surely.
Ben Matthews.
Oh, he's playing deliberate. The downfield umpire was suggesting deliberate at the point of kick, but the umpire further afield is called the throw-in.
Well,
and that's why you've got Carlton think it's a free kick here, but the umpire in control has called a boundary throw-in.
Throw it in, pushes and kicks.
Exactly.
And good decision,
exactly.
umpire. Well umpired.
How could you call it deliberate? Look at the push on the side, which makes him hit the wrong part of the foot.
That's umpire Brett Roseberry with that overrule, so
Terrific
well done
decision.
to him.
Yep.
Yaron attacks it. So too Gibbs trying to get a piece of it. Richards. And they try and work it from defence again. Barlow lending a hand back there, doing okay at the moment. Man, they've got high hopes for. That's Craig Bolton, Shaw, and now Smith.
Well, that was just brilliant umpiring from Brett Roseberry. He almost did his block with his boundary umpire.
He said, just throw it in.
Don't argue with me. Don't think. Do.
Jude Bolton to Lewis Roberts-Thompson.
It's not who you want kicking the footy.
Although that's not too bad. O'Loughlin almost pounced on it. He does pounce on it. Bauer corrals him. O'Loughlin tries to weave some magic. Jolly. Ball thumped clear by Hampson. Bauer tackled by O'Loughlin. Got it up to Bentley. Carlton sticking to the boundary. Simpson. Not a lot to go to. Sticks to the line. Favola. Got the knee in and the fly. Couldn't bring the ball down. Ball in.
He did his best to make a fool of the LRT with that kick going forward, but Lewis Roberts-Thompson on the burst, kicking on his opposite foot, is not the way you want the ball delivered into your attack. They've got to link up with hand pass and get the guys that can really use the footy to hit the leading target.
True ruckman tie up. Judd. Jude Bolton had him almost before he got that. Barlow. McVeigh. Shaw. Well worked, Matner. And now the release pass is good to O'Keefe. Has Jack. He wants White in his direction. On the move. Got it again.
Telling you he moves well, this bloke.
Well, Barry Hall's kept him out of a spot for too long.
And he actually double dinked on the lead. He was caught behind. He was going to come back to the corridor. Then he peeled around the back of his opponent and went wide to the flank. And it was a very, very good kick from Kieran Jack.
That's it, right there, right where you're standing, right where you're standing.
Massive kick this.
That's it, right there, right there.
Stands as a 9-point lead right now. He'll kick from the paint. It's for number 3. It'll fall short. Goods. Oh, he had a piece of it. O'Loughlin claims he got enough on it. It's there. 3-point game.
Well, he may have a little bit of work still to do on his kicking, Jesse White. It looks like he should be able to roost the thing about 70 metres, but he's not quite getting the purchase off the boot. But he is looking very dangerous as a forward target. Kicks from right on 50, doesn't quite get the journey. He just got under it a little bit, but they'll be disappointed. You've got 5-on-2 numbers defensively, and the loose ball on the ground gets kicked through by O'Loughlin.
Big pack around this ball up. Jolly down to O'Keefe. Manhandled. A little kick around the body from Bird is okay. Goods tried to slap it on. Maybe too clever. Thornton scoops it up. Gibbs. Ref. Touch in this game for him. And now the poke pass is good from Johnson. Maybe not good enough. Tough one to mark, obviously. Murphy. Back to Johnson. Bumped off the kick. Ball in.
Well, I think Greg Bentley just took his eyes off the footy at the point of impact. It was a good little chip kick threading the needle from Chris Johnson. And Bentley just fumbling the chest mark.
No holds.
No holds, as you heard. Barlow wrapped up.
In trouble.
Did he dive on it? Russell wrapped him up, and he gets away with it.
Pair of hands there as well.
Ed Barlow. Umpire said a couple of pair of hands on it.
Actually had an air swing with the hands as he tried to pick it up between his knees.
Hampson with the knockdown. Jack. So Shaw got it from Barlow. Gives it up to Bevan. And they're away again. Hanbury. Goods.
Under pressure, but it was a good kick in the end from young Daniel
looks
Hanbury.
okay.
He knew what he was doing.
Comes from footy stock. His father Matt played 32 games for the Dogs, and his uncle played for Collingwood and the Bombers.
He can run, they tell me, Dwayne. Very, very good engine.
Yeah, just the 32 games his dad for the Bulldogs, so not enough under the father-son rule. As Vez Primi kicks a dangerous ball.
Gee.
And Grundy couldn't take the mark, but Barlow comes up with it.
There's a kick.
O'Keefe on the second grab.
There is a kick from Ed Barlow. That is a cracker. But, gee, the Vez Primi kick, the intention was right. I just don't think he had the leg to actually get the kick across the top of the corridor that he wanted to.
Tell you what, Jason, the Blues need to get a lift from somewhere. They're getting beaten around the packs.
Quick play on, Ablett. Can't
no
take
push.
the mark. No push. No holding the ball. No worries.
They're 3 points in front, but they just appear to be struggling at the present time, the Blues. They got off to a great fly, as we know. Fev looked in really good form. Judd was in good form, but since about 15 minutes into the first quarter.
Kirk. He spins it around the body. Big pack. Thump through. Margin reduced to 2 points.
I think where people expected Carlton to dominate the game was through the engine room, and that's not happening at the moment, Jared.
No, around the clearances, the stoppages, the Swans are definitely holding their own, if not winning over the last 30 minutes.
The Fab Four at the moment being beaten by the old Rolling Stone in Kirk,
They are.
Jude Bolton, and some of the premiership midfield that has served the Sydney Swans so well.
15-10 the clearances in favour of the Swans.
Yep.
Long kick, no mark. Carazzo tries the big long handball. Hanbury in game one. Sees it out. He'll get another ball in. Still going to school, Daniel Hanbury, Xavier College in Melbourne. Meant to spend the whole year at school this year without playing for the Swans. He hasn't been living in Sydney. But they said, you're due. 5 games in the reserves. He's looked all right, and he'll have to go back to school on Monday. Houlihan. Gibbs. Fisher can't get there for the mark, and they are under extreme pressure, the Blues, even though they lead by 2 points at the moment.
Just on the back of that little shove that we saw from Hanbury, and you mentioned Lockett. When I was playing for the Swans, Merv Nagel was wearing number 4.
Right.
It's ingrained in the jumper number,
There
isn't
is
it?
something about the genetics of that jumper.
Luke Ablett getting help to his feet, as you saw on screen as well. So we'll get Lee Colbert to check on his condition. Get another ball up on the wing. Good crowd in here at Etihad Stadium. I know the importance of this one. Luke Ablett up and maybe okay. He is a tough soldier. Free kick out of this, and it'll go to Judd. Being held by Kirk.
Almost a Bronx cheer from the Blues supporters.
I don't think it was for Juddy.
It was for the umpire.
I think it might have been for the men in green.
Yellow.
Yellow.
Yeah, or lemon, as some Carlton fans would say right now.
Let's have a look at Luke Ablett coming into the ball.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just run in and hit the side of his cheekbone on the head of Ryan Houlihan.
Goods doing some ruck work. Houlihan couldn't cut it off.
46 disposals more, the Swans.
Barlow, O'Keefe. Good shepherd Matner as he gave it back to O'Keefe, and now Bevan heads wide with it. Tough ball. Good climb and a good fist from Hartlett. Cruiser, boundary line, ball in.
Now, is that deliberate?
No, not enough Swans fans here to call for it.
Terrific result from Carlton, though, because Cruiser was one out. And the only players downfield were 2 or 3 loose Swans defenders. That's a great result.
And they'll go at it again. Cruiser and Jolly. Nice palm down to Bird. O'Keefe, Judd with the smother.
Well, Juddy needs a chop out. He needs a genuine lift from around him. it's not going to be a one-man show today. The Swans are sharing the load, and he dead set needs half a dozen of his colleagues to lift their work rate and give him a help out.
A couple of teeth might be displaced there with Ablett. Just saw getting some work done to wipe some blood away. 28 plays 26.
He's going straight up the race, Luke Ablett. He's getting just some gauze, and I think he's got a couple of stitches on his lip there, Dwayne.
Okay.
How are you seeing it, Colby?
It's an amazing battle. The Swans obviously are all over them at the moment, and Gibbs, as you mentioned, just can't get in the game.
Betts had enough of it, but not enough in the end to be paid the mark.
And how long do they persist
free
with
kick for the Blues?
Being a loose man, finding no footy? Surely they've got to change roles.
And it's been all about Adam Goodes being a presence across centre forward has created that. It just hasn't been able to get into the game. So he's going to come up the ground very, very soon. Actually, he's coming off Bryce Gibbs, so probably a chat and then go back out.
Almost got one by default here, the Blues. They paid in the back against Matner. He's just fallen into the back of Andrew Crazzo, and just need to be a little bit smarter to try and turn him as he tackled him.
Carrozza from 48. Hits the post. Second time the Blues have done that today. Lead out to 3 points. He's got Smith in the middle. He goes further back to Craig Bolton, who's still got Smith, and uses him now. Opportunity for Barlow. He can thump a long ball. Back inboard. Craig Bolton bangs it to the square. Goodes is down there. White, Goodes, good backing back mark to Fisher.
It was, and he got great assistance from a couple of his teammates that used their body to keep Adam Goodes and Jesse White out of the marking contest.
Carrozza. Blues hanging on by their teeth at the moment.
It was great word there by Brett Thornton to defend. Jesse White, much bigger man, but he bodied him, used his experience and kept him out of it. And I think out of that, Jason, you'd encourage White just to get on the lead, because that's where he looks more dangerous.
It's interesting that Fev's having to push up almost a half back to get on the end of a couple of kicks.
Yeah.
Bauer. Back pocket.
They've manned up well, Sydney.
Short. Simpson. Plays for 50.
Lucky not to get it.
Crowd getting a little restless at the moment. Carrozza. 3 points the margin.
They don't ping Adam Goodes a lot, the umpires, Jared.
Well, protected species, I think it was called by Lee Matthews.
I can't believe he didn't get pinged for 50 then.
High bomb. Good fist from O'Keefe. Hits the deck. Houlihan takes them on. Hartlett looks up. Favola says, give it to me long. It's short. Craig Bolton dropped the mark. Caught by Betts. No ball free. Favola tucked into the pocket. Left it behind. Barlow. He's wrapped up. Had a prior opportunity. Ball comes out. Houlihan. It's a throw. Gee. Out of jail there, Sydney.
There were two dead set free kicks there against the Swans. Here's one of them. That's dropping the ball. That was a shocker from the umpire. Swans a bit lucky there.
So Craig Bolton bounces away from defence, breathing a sigh of relief. White, Matner. Ted Richards short. He won't get anywhere near that.
Well, he had to make a late decision, Marty Matner. He was going to bomb it long over the top, and then all of a sudden Ted Richards changed the lead from the long one to straight at him up the line, and he tried to pull his kick late.
Grigg bangs it high, hoping for the leapers, but that's a good, strong mark from Marty Matner. In fact, it's Grundy taking that one to Bevan. And now Craig Bolton. Kirk. Bolton in the 1-2. O'Keefe. Pushing to try and take this lead by half-time. Lachlan edged under it. Goodes. Thornton. Thornton did well. Dragged down by Goodes. He pulled the ball with him. O'Loughlin steals it. Toes it short. Past Johnson. White spins around for the lead. They're in front.
Big Jesse.
He's got 3 and they lead by 3.
Well, he's got all the attributes of a good full forward. A, he didn't look for the handball. And B, he snapped around the corner.
Gee, he moves well for a big bloke, doesn't he?
And made a goal out of nothing. Gee, this is a pretty dangerous time now for the Blues. They're going to have to find some footy. Have a look at this. I'll go, fellas. Nice goal.
For a bloke that size to show that sort of agility and finishing class, you've got so much to work with, haven't you?
Yeah, it's a big upside.
It's one of the biggest old cliches in the book. One door shuts and another door opens, but with the retirement of Barry Hall,
It's proven prophetic, hasn't it?
in comes Jesse White. Swans by 3 points in the dying stages of this second term. Brick came in hard, got one high. Crowd happy to see that one given. Simpson dances around Bevan. Ball didn't bounce back to him. Judd. Maybe too far out to score. Not now. Waltz is inside 50 and kicks wide.
Just going back to the free kick initially, it's another example of, I think, an area where Paul Bevan has to get better, and that is just being smarter. Just the odd dumb thing comes into his game almost every week, which just robs him of solidifying his spot in the side.
Barlow. Shaw.
Bryce Gibbs still stuck on the 3 possessions, Jared. He's in a different role now, playing more through the midfield, but it's only one of those days where wherever you run, the ball isn't.
Yeah, he looks like he was suffering from that condition early in the match. Maybe just put him down the other end of the ground.
Bevan back.
Change his role up,
Shaw.
put him as half forward flank, even a centre half forward.
To Kirk. Craig Bolton. Goods. Edged out of that contest. Jude Bolton did well. Got the free kick. Pulled the free kick. Play on advantage perhaps. No, it'll come back.
Darren Jolly working really hard to get forward. Cruiser's playing him man on man.
Grundy. Held up. Jude Bolton. And now thumps it in the O'Loughlin direction. Use of the body. Joe Anderson did well. Thumped it down. Could almost have attempted a mark, but went the percentage play. Fisher. Murphy. Wide for Vola. Crushes the pack. Did pretty well. Roberts Thompson with the crumb though. Craig Bolton. Smith. LRT. Grundy. Spear. McVeigh. And paid the mark.
Terrific hands off his bootlaces.
Just going back to Joe Anderson, one-on-one against Michael O'Loughlin. It was a fantastic effort from an inexperienced player against one of the legends of the Swans.
Held his ground well, didn't he?
Kirk O'Loughlin. Okay.
And there's another lesson. You've got to do it time and time again.
Well, we saw him at the other end in the first quarter, similar distance, didn't fancy his chances, looked to give it off. Having a good look around here too.
I reckon he should pull the torpedo out, Mick O'Loughlin.
Wouldn't you love to see it come back?
Well, he hasn't got many games left. He might as well have a crack.
He knew it was too far out. Bird with a little handball out. Bevan couldn't make something of it. Grundy does. McVeigh back to O'Loughlin where he had it moments ago. And he elects for the bomb this time.
Jesse, big bloke.
Here goes Jesse. He's got it.
We've got a potential cult hero here. Cult figure.
Rosie's going to be under pressure. Why hasn't he selected him before this?
Well, they've experimented with Lewis Roberts-Thompson forward. Heath Grundy's played at both ends, and all of a sudden this bloke, look at the leap on him.
Maybe it was only an issue of him finding his position. They've tried him as a ruckman, and perhaps it's only been the last few weeks he's gone into the full forward position, which he's clearly dominated in the lower grade.
Well, he kicked 8 2 weeks ago, and he was told it was a soft 8. So he kicked 12 last week, and that was for number 4 today.
Good
It's
off the boot.
post.
Good, very good off the boot. You don't mind a kick from a tight angle that hits the post like that.
And you look at Carlton's form. I know they came in with better form than Sydney in many respects, but they've won their past 2 against the 16th and 14th teams on the AFL ladder, Fremantle and Richmond. So come in with 2 wins, but not necessarily impressive wins. Bentley, Gibbs, that wasn't impressive. Fumble there. Karato mopped up his mess. Scotland thought about heading wide, heads to Hampson. Lewis Roberts-Thompson had the reach, knocked it down, caught by Hampson. No prior opportunity. O'Keefe, Jude Bolton, well played. Jack gives it up. Hanbury wide. Marked by Richards.
Good running, Hanbury. Like the look of him.
Shaw, short, wide. Hanbury continues to run on. As you said, Jared, He's picked up the pace of AFL footy very quickly.
Well, he shot out the left foot and then he just charged. He went past Carazzo and he's the big man.
Jolly lines up from 45 metres out. And it was chaos for a while. So many Sydney Swans players working hard, though. The space had to come and the block had to come for someone. It was Jolly in the end.
Jesse White again involved in the hit-up. A great lead-up. He's had 11 possessions, 7 marks and kicked 3 goals. And he's not just one-dimensional in terms of having shots at goal.
This for the Swans' biggest lead of the game. For a 9-point margin. Comes back. Awesome kick from the ruckman. They lead by 9.
Well, the signs are there, Jason, and if you're not nervous and you're a Carlton supporter, then you've got greater faith in the Blues than I think you're entitled to have. Jason, Wayne has mentioned their form coming in. It was winning form, but it was just a struggling win both times.
I guess questionable winning form, wasn't it? I think Richmond and Freo was the other one. Not the sort of wins that are going to give you huge confidence, but they've got to do some serious work here and quickly.
Pushing for that All-Australian ruck spot with each passing game. Darren Jolly, it's an open spot, if not 2 spots in the All-Australian team this year. Dean Cox unlikely to take any further part in the season. Fremantle struggling a little. Sandlin's not having a spectacular year.
Well, there's one move. Eddie Betts into the middle.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what the biggest problem they've got at the moment, Jared, getting your hands on the footy.
Yeah.
Total possessions, you've got Sydney 209, Carlton 131. That's an extra 78 possessions in less than a half a footy.
Yep.
Swans win this today.
Again.
They're only 1 win outside the 8. Essendon, the loss last night, opening a spot up in the 8. Tackle late on Vest Primi was good from Anderson. Ball still alive though. Murphy pushed into the deck in the dying seconds. Blues in a spot of bother at half-time here at Etihad. Sydney Swans by 9 points at the long change. 6-3-39 or 4-6-30. As we get this second half underway.
Yeah, they've gone man on man, as you said, Jason.
And Gibbs with a rare touch. Wobbles it, but Ted Richards in the hole. Caught, dispossessed. Goes back in, ducks into that. Umpire wise to it. Scotland rakes it free. Jude Bolton quick in. McVeigh a toe poke. Judd. Just an 11 possession opening half. Sorry, Jared.
Yeah, Scotland's gone forward to play on Richards.
Greg, and almost it is a turnover. Matner with the fist. Although Anderson mopped it up, gave it up to Hampson. Slung. Johnson slips and gets a free.
Well done, Hampson. Second effort. Followed up. He's got some real potential as a long-term ruckman.
This Johnson, the man the Blues took in the pre-season draft when they could have had Cousins. Cut off by O'Loughlin at half-back.
Yeah, good awareness. Good awareness, you're right, Dwayne. He saw that Scotland had pushed forward into space and he made the extra effort to get back and give his defence a chop out. Now they've got possession. They can launch something going forward.
On the other hand, Johnson was recruited as an A-grade distributor.
Yep.
And that was an A-grade service.
And here we go. Shot for goal coming.
Goods wide. And Cousins is a pretty good distributor.
This guy's playing some sort of game, Ryan O'Keefe. This will be possession number 16.
Pokes that pass to Ablett. Oh, and he threaded the eye of the needle there.
And not just that, how high did that get off the ground, Jared?
About 19 centimetres at its highest point.
It stayed there. It was the only place he could put it for Ablett to take the mark.
Not sure what the percentages are, whether Ryan O'Keefe converting this over here to Luke Ablett and then him kicking the goal, or then Ryan O'Keefe just having a ping from a tighter angle.
If you joined us late, Bevan and Ablett in late for Pike and Malcheski, the 2 changes for the Sydney Swans. Hardlett in for Jamison for the Blues.
Oh, I like Ablett's kick.
That's the biggest lead the Swans have had today, 15 points.
Well, the alarm bells must be ringing now, Jared.
Yeah, I think they're just the echoes of the ones that were ringing in the second term, Jason.
Well, they're not listening to them then.
They're not listening. You've got to take the plugs out of their ears. It was all about a poor kick, though, going into their forward line. Scotland was the ball going to him from Johnson was intercepted, and then they moved it on pretty well easily and got it into the hands of Ablett. It's great conversion though.
Well, this was billed as the end of one era and the start of another one. The Sydney Swans, the all-conquering Swans, were supposed to be at an end, and the Blues are supposed to be coming.
Well, Jared Healy got his wish because Matthew Cruiser has lined up at full forward. But the question is,
will the ball
can
get
somebody in a blue jumper get their hands on the footy often enough to give him a chance to kick some goals?
Arms off, don't hold.
Jolly and Hampson.
And that had nothing to do with ruck work. It's just about these blokes in this ruck here.
And a ruck is what it is.
Not going anywhere, my ball.
Umpire to sort it out.
Hey. Andrew!
Jolly, palm down. Gibbs had it, lost it. Houlihan steals. Simpson. Back to Gibbs. And now the lead comes from Favola. It's ignored. Murphy, arm slap there by Jack. No free. Now he's dragged down and gets a free for being legged.
Oh, and 50. That's dumb. And he knows it, Kieran Jack. He's trying to be aggressive. He's disappointed giving away the free kick. It was just a little show of frustration, but it's cost his team a goal.
And here's the one he should have got. There.
Clear chop of the arm, isn't it?
Here's the one he does get. Just needs to finish. Desperate half dozen, they need it there.
And it's amazing, sometimes you'll look back on a match and just say that's the turning point. Now the Swans desperate now to get the next goal because Carlton will try to use this particular goal as a springboard. Not much in it, but enough for the umpire to have to blow the whistle. There he is, and he gets up. A tiny little push, but it was enough for the 50.
McVeigh. Hamstring seems okay today. He was a late withdrawal last week, just with tightness, not a tear. Back into the team this week. Craig Bolton pushed in the back on the kick. They don't pay that all that often.
It's a good free kick to give though because it holds play up, allows all the Carlton players to get back, get behind the footy, pick up their men, fill up the space.
High profile draftee was Chris Yarran.
Gee, they actually didn't pick up their men or mind the space, the Blues defenders, while that was happening.
He was a pick six, Chris Yarran. So they expect a lot of players when you pick them up in your first round and spend a fair bit on them. Eddie Betts, Yarran's peeling for this. Favola, 2 grabs.
Brilliant play, Eddie Betts. Ed Barlow still learning the game.
Boy. He's landed, I think he's landed on Craig Bolton, and that's showing genuine concern and compassion, Fev.
That's fair enough.
You love to see sportsmanship like that.
And he's actually, Fev hasn't had a bad game. He just has been starved of opportunities. He looked sharp at the start of the match.
I'll tell you what, he is shaky, Craig Bolton. I think Fev must have landed on him at the second grab as they went to ground, and he realises he's probably squashed him.
Well, after the last miss, this one is absolutely needed to go through to kickstart their chance of winning.
You know how much he loves the big stage. Brendan Favola. It's his kind of game for the taking. He's got 2. It's a 2-point game.
You always get a pretty good guide about Fev's kicks because as soon as it left the boot, he was off jogging. Yeah. And you know that's a pretty good sign. But he's the man they want to get the ball in the hands of. There's the mistake. Ed Barlow, he didn't get clear of the man on the mark. Eddie Betts, not only did he smother it, he then jumped onto the loose ball. Now, what happened here? Oh, it was the left boot that got slung over into the back of the head of Craig Bolton, and that didn't tickle.
No, that was ugly. Might have been a bit of shin as well as the boot.
You can understand the genuine compassion coming from Brendan Favola because he gets whipped around as he gets dragged down. Have a look at the boot. Catch, the right boot just catches the back of the head of Craig Bolton. No wonder he showed genuine concern. Completely accidental.
Judd free kick. He was dragged to the ground without the footy.
Been a little turn in momentum here.
A little bit, yep. Helped by a couple of errant disposals by the Swans, but they're getting a sniff out of it.
Here's Cruiser. Oh, he spilled it. He really had to motor. He ran about 25 minutes to get there. Yarran, can he hit a target? Throws it up long. Favola's got 2 to beat. Can't beat them both. Ted Richards. He plays on into trouble. Dragged down. Had Pryor. Dead. Fisher's ball.
I tell you what, that's one of those line ball decisions where the player anticipated the play on call, because Fisher at no stage cleared the mark. At no stage had he got away from where he was supposed to be, but because Richards just immediately left his line, he tackled him just at the point that the umpire was calling play on.
Just started to hot up this game. Blues back in front by 4.
That's the sort of one that hurts too, because you've just used your loose man in defence to mop up an attack. You've taken the mark. You're about to rebound, and he just wasn't aware of what's around him. There he is now. He's just about to go. Doesn't realise that there's a man behind him. The umpire was only just in the very early stages of calling play on, and it was perfect timing by Brad Fisher. And all of a sudden, instead of rebounding out of defence, you cough up a goal.
Crowd starting to find some voice now. 7-7 to 7-3 from the restart. Jolly gets it down. McVeigh a little handout after getting it from Hanbury to Jude Bolton. Goods caught behind. Bauer couldn't mark it. Ball up.
See, Darren Jolly pushed forward hard off Sean Hampson. It was filthy when the kick didn't go to him. He's really trying to get forward, be an attacking threat, get ahead of the footy. The Swans players haven't been able to pick him out.
Nice palm down from Jolly, but in the Murphy direction. Tied up again, and umpire Schmidt will sort it out again. Some pensive silence again from the crowd here. From the ball up, Goods knocks it down. Bevan caught, got it up. Richards to McVeigh. Won't be all that happy with that. Massive players fly for it. Bentley crumbs it. Caught by Kirk, who almost drags it off him. Ball up on 50 for the Swans. Blues led by a couple of goals late in the opening term. Swans have led by a couple. Ball down to Kirk. Wobbles it inside 50, bouncing ball. Anderson got there first. Hamill not so good. Hanbury dived in, missed it. Simpson somehow gave it to Bentley.
Starting Anderson to run now, the Blues.
Anderson looks up and he's got Carazzo. Richards backing back. Sure. Didn't go for the big fly. Didn't want to take mark of the year. Just wanted the ball. Good option.
Possession 25 for East Shore.
Hanbury to Bevan. Long ball. Goods uses the body. Fist from Thornton gets it down. Scotland takes them on. Caught by Vespremi. Another tackle laid. Ball raked free. O'Keefe has the shot at goal. O'Loughlin, he was in the square. And he got neither behind.
Player down behind play. Chris Johnson for the Blues. He is hurt. He's in pain. He's holding the left leg.
So the Blues now with 17 against 18. Fisher. Called to play on. Houlihan. Short Carazzo. Over the head of Carazzo and Shaw. Yaron shepherded off it by Bevan. Yaron tries to steal it back. Tucked into the boundary. Pops the pass to Fisher. Nicely measured.
Chris Johnson coming off for the Blues, limping heavily.
Lee Colbert will give us an update shortly, but all eyes on Fisher. They lead by 3. He's already kicked one in this term. From the paint. Blues fans love it off the boot. They lead by 9.
Well, after a couple of mistakes by the Swans which let them in for goals, the Blues are starting to generate a lot more run. There's the injury to Chris Johnson. You suspect he may be off for the rest of the match.
Tangle of legs.
Bad tangle of legs. Bit of a corky, hopefully only for him, but it might impact him for the day. But then Yaron gets involved. He's expected to deliver, and that will be start of the business.
Blues have won all 7 games this year when they've led at half-time, but coming from behind hasn't been their forte. Today could be the day, although they're down a man. Johnson still in the hands of trainers.
Worry, looks like they're checking that left knee.
Goods. Kick smothered by Judd. Tackle late on Gibbs was spectacular from Bird. And we'll get another ball up.
Just see the tackle by Luke Ablett, then the clash of legs. Look, you hope that it's just a cork in the knee with the opponent's knee going into the side of his knee perhaps, but it just looked a little bit worse than that, unfortunately.
He landed pretty heavily on the leg or the knee.
Keep the fingers crossed, but they are very concerned about it.
They're doing some knee checks there, sideways lateral movement. And the ball up. Massive players around this ball up, and Judd breaks it free. Sends it along to the square. Fisher's down there again. He's manhandled. No free. Off. He did get the free. I think the umpire was waiting to see if there was an advantage crumb from that. Pack attempted a mark, and he can kick 3 for the term.
I don't think you can argue too much about that. He had him in a bear hug, Barlow.
This for the biggest Blues lead of the game.
They needed someone to step up. Fisher's done it this quarter, but it barely touched it in a half a footy.
The Swans have led this game by 15. Carlton now leads it by 15.
Just speed into the forward line. You see Craig Bolton there trying to explain the vagaries of defence to Ed Barlow, doing it with a pat in the back. He hasn't had a great quarter. He's chopped one up, and this is when Chris Judd's at his most dangerous, on the burst and delivering it quickly. You can see there, it wasn't too bad, I didn't think, Jason. I'm not sure it was as bad as you thought, but
it's when you've got one arm over the shoulder wrapped around him.
You
It
just
really
gotta get him
gives
away.
the umpire an excuse to pay the free kick.
We had a lot of talk about Carlton to win games, needing other options than Brendan Favola. Brad Fisher has 3 goals for the term. We've joined us late. Sydney led by 9 points at half-time. And the ball up. Jolly knocked down. Gibbs lays a tackle on Kirk. And that's good news for the Blues. Chris Johnson testing that knee.
The player that's gone out of the game for Sydney is Jesse White, because the ball hasn't got there. Hasn't touched it in the third term, but they haven't had too many forward forays where the Swans forwards can actually lead at the footy.
Classic rise and palm down from Cruiser there. 24 minutes gone, third term, another ball up.
no loose man either now, Jason. I'm not sure whether it's the Swans that have decided to drop it off, but it's man-on-man in defence. So Brendan Favola now becomes more dangerous.
Gibbs, another little fumble. Jack, through traffic, kicked it into the face of his own man.
He's having one of those days, Bryce Gibbs. Even when he does get the ball, he fumbles.
And the Blues fans starting to find some voice again here at Etihad. 7th on the AFL ladder, the Blues. Haven't played finals for 7 seasons. From the ball up, Jack, hunted down, had it, lost it, Bird, O'Keefe, Kirk, Goods. Jude Bolton, bang! Simpson read it well, waited till he got it. Cruiser over the top, and they're growing Carlton.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Adam Goods didn't do Jude Bolton any favours with a big, high, floating hand pass. He had to jump up for the footy and was just set up for a tackle like that from Cade Simpson.
Interesting though, he's been moved onto the ball. They need to generate some run now, the Swans, because they are under severe pressure.
Judd with the long handball. Eddie Betts left it behind. Smith caught. The ball in. Some more applause from Blues fans. Cruiser off, as you can see, bottom of the screen. And that'll lead Hampson to do some ruck work.
Fisher slipped in behind. Favola runner came out just to adjust their positioning.
Murphy, slick, Bentley, little fumble, mopped up his own mess. Houlihan looks up. Favola on the lead over his head. Bouncing ball. Fisher the new target. Tackled, dragged down. Brilliant tackle again by Martin Matner. We'll get another ball up. Got a hug on him like grandma. You can't get out of it once he's got you. From the ball up. Roberts Thompson down. Barlow, Sharks. Bird into trouble, then out of it. O'Keefe, Matner. A wobbler for O'Loughlin. He's got 2 to beat here. Big crunch by Hartlett. Knocked it down, Bauer. All of a sudden it looks like the Blues have got a spare man everywhere. Russell sends it long. Hampson edged under it by Roberts-Thompson. He's got the boundary line as a friend here. LRT knows it. Caught, dragged down. Holding the ball, perhaps.
Yep.
It is.
He's at a slow motion, Lewis Roberts-Thompson. He did everything right. He worked his opponent under the ball. Then he took possession. He had a player for the quick hand pass back up the line, but he just accepted the tackle and thought, I'll get dragged over the line and we'll have a throw-in.
Only kicked 4 goals in his 22 games. Sean Hampson.
You liked his style before the match, Jason?
He's a big leggy type, and he was having a few shots that looked all right.
The pack rises. Judd from mid-air. Favola! Who else? They lead by 21.
Well, you kind of expect the Eddie Betts types to do this sort of thing. Rode the pack, hit it at speed, grabbed the loose ball cleanly. This is Lewis Roberts-Thompson. He's just fumbled the ball. He didn't dispose of it. He had to be a little bit stronger than that. The left hand, he couldn't get the hand pass to it. It was a good tackle from Hampson. But now this should have been thumped through. This is a bad defensive slip by the Swans.
Biggest lead either team has had today. Favola has 3. Fisher 3 for the term. They've come from 9 points down at half-time, Carlton. They lead by 21 with 28 minutes on the clock in the third. And they're not finished yet. Bentley heads wide. Yaron, Smith, Carazzo. Pursued by Shaw. Bentley, good second effort. Hands it out to Judd. Uh-oh. Inside 50. Fisher. One grab, not the second. Goods. Great second effort. Takes them on with some speed. Heads wide. Ablett. Joseph. Boundary umpire.
Was virtually not getting past half-back at the moment.
I felt in some ways a bit disappointed for Jesse White because he has been on fire and yet just totally starved of opportunities.
From the ball in, umpire called play on, but no one going anywhere. Three minutes 10 left on the clock. Big 3 minutes you sense. O'Keefe to Bird. Jude Bolton. Wobbles one towards attacking 50 and Vest Primmy, who can kick a goal. Lines up from about 48, the kick will come.
Well, he just put a mark on the 50-metre line. That's where he wants to kick it. This is a critical kick for Sydney. They have just been completely dominated for the last 15 or 20 minutes, and the game's slipping away very quickly. This keeps them in touch.
Victorian boy back home, the same Victorian club as Cruiser and Nick Stevens, in fact. St Mary's, and Vest Primmy isn't having a great day at the office today.
No, just half a dozen possessions, one behind to his name.
Thornton to Judd. Safe option. 20 points the margin. There's the signal. Let's hold possession, boys. Let's go in at three-quarter time with a 20-point break. Cade Simpson.
Still over a couple of minutes on the clock. You want to make sure that you do control possession when you give that signal.
Bauer wide. Well, Anderson a little slip and he still marked it.
Been all right at times though, Joe, today.
Simpson. Fev wants it long. Sets himself. Goes. Got a hand to it. Betts. It's his forte. Gives it up. Fisher. A rolling ball. Couldn't get enough toe on it. Dragged through for a behind.
Should have done better. That was a chance to put a nail in the coffin of Sydney.
Not a huge fan for this rolling outside of the football. Look how he's dropped it.
It was nearly a drop kick. Nearly had an air swing. He actually could have run all the way in.
You've got to be pretty balanced to be doing those and exquisitely skilled. And I think you sometimes got to play within the boundaries of your limitations.
Peter Dacos has a lot to explain for him.
Well, I think he's introduced a fantastic kick. Every week we see some beauties, but not sure it was the right option for Fisher then.
Maybe we should have heralded Maybe we should have heralded a bit more some of the old-fashioned two-sided players who were able to kick goals on both feet.
Yeah, a left footer would have gone straight through.
From the ball in. Big minute 20 coming up here. Bird threads it out. Goods manhandled off it. Jude Bolton, poke pass over the head of Ves Primi. O'Loughlin, Ves Primi gets another chance here. Runs in on Bauer. Thought about the handball. Gives the handball. And White kicks goal number 4.
Keeps the game alive, but more with a view to the long term. Jason, I reckon Ves Primi showed he's got a footy brain there. He held this up really well.
He ran a long way after that first bounce. I dare say almost too far. But he played it well. He kept his options open. He said, if they keep peeling off me, I'll run in and kick the goal. But if he comes away from his opponent, Thornton, then I can hand pass over the top and make sure of it.
Geez, Thornton did it well too. He really held back to the last second. Did it well.
You're right about Ves Primi's footy brain, but Jesse White's footy brain there to step back and cause some space for the handball over the top was very clever as well. 59 seconds on the clock. Hampson from the ball up with the palm down. Bentley caught by O'Keefe. Kick smothered by Jolly. Simpson tried to thread it out. Goods. Danger here for Carlton. Goods back. McVeigh spears the pass to O'Loughlin.
Such a good kick. Jared McVeigh.
He doesn't like his chances from there. He doesn't know how long left.
He's got to go back and have a shot for this.
Jolly one-on-one in the squares is good an option if he doesn't make it.
Well, Adam Goods is lurking. Here we go.
He's got to know the sign is not far away. There's 32 minutes on the clock. Gives it up to Goods. He bangs it long. Oh, White with a huge leap. No free. Out of play. So one last roll of the dice from the ball in here for the Swans.
Didn't do that well, Michael O'Loughlin. If you're going to give off the hand pass, it's got to be to someone that can actually get themselves in range. But he handballed backwards to Goods, who then unloaded from 55.
Big pack around this ball in. Jolly and Cruiser. Ball knocked down. Bentley and McVeigh. Bentley over it and clever there. That's the second roll. Doesn't get it out. We're down to 9. You wouldn't think time for a Carlton score, but plenty of time for a Swans score here. Margin stands at 15. Jolly with a slap back. O'Keefe, oh, more than a score. Cuts the margin back to 9.
Well, probably from the game's perspective, the best thing that could have happened, just to tighten it up before three-quarter time. Paul Roo's pretty happy with that. Doesn't show much emotion, but he would know how important this is. Just as it looked like Carlton were breathing pretty comfortably, a terrific tap over the back.
Oh, and that's the Shepherd. I'm not sure. We might have another look at that, Jason. There was a great block. I think it was by Mark McVeigh. Let's get another look at that.
This is like when you're leading by less than a kick, get Mark McVeigh involved there, but they've got that many numbers behind the ball now, Sydney. It's like they're in front a couple of points just before the final siren.
They squeezed that goal in with virtually a second left on the clock, Sydney, and kept not only the game but perhaps their season alive. Carlton by 9 at the last change. 10-8, 68 to 9-5, 59. Final term underway. Carlton by 9. Hampson in the ruck. O'Keefe had a piece of it. Gibbs has a piece of him. Secondary ball up. Kirk trying to generate something. The captain. Judd stalking the pack. Ruckman tie up. Bounce favoured Hanson. Down to Murphy. Fisher. Can't take the mark, but crumbs it beautifully. Hands it up. Gibbs hasn't been his day. Makes it his moment.
Yeah, beautiful call, Dwayne. You can have a sour day, but you can turn things around very, very quickly just by doing a couple of smart things, a couple of things correctly that help get your team over the line. And he struggled to find the footy today, Bryce Gibbs. He's had just the 10 possessions, but this time getting on the end of a beautiful hand pass from Brad Fisher and finishing truly. That was the crucial, the all-important first goal that the Blues got. breathing space again. The Swans have to bounce back straight away.
Emphatic, it went straight through the middle. What a good start to Bryce Gibbs and the Blues in this quarter.
Crowd hushed again. Jolly up against Hampson. Hampson looked at only the ball. Judd caught by Jack, shrugs him, hands it up to Carazzo. Little pop inside 50 to Favola. Can't half volley it, dishes it back. Eddie Betts, Carazzo from 48 to make it 2 in a minute. Oh, they can smell September.
Well, 2 centre clearances, 2 forward moves, 2 goals, and probably 4 points. Carazzo just getting the start. Nice hands from Fev. Like Fev games today, I think he's been really instrumental in a number of goals outside the ones he's kicked himself. I think Carazzo followed up, and it was a fantastic goal to him.
Brad Ratton on screen with Montgomery in the foreground. Carazzo.
I dare say they're a little bit more comfortable now, Dwayne. As the game's progressed, I think they've proven to have a little bit more run, the Blues, as opposed to the Swans.
Jolly wins this down to Jack. Gets the kick away to half forward. Ablett manhandled, hassled, got it somehow, but they've got him. No Pryor, ball up. Is an era about to end for the Sydney Swans after playing finals in all 6 full seasons under Paul Roos so far.
Got to move it quick. That's what he does. That's a good kick.
O'Loughlin on the move, couldn't take the second grab. Good fist from Anderson. It was a legal fist. Bird slung, Joseph wrapped him up. Talent out, Best Primi. And O'Keefe locks it in.
What I liked about the Darren Jolly kick before, he got back, he moved the ball quickly before Carlton players around the stoppage were able to get back and fill up the space, and he kicked it to the advantage of Michael O'Loughlin.
Nathan Gibbs, Swans doctor, out talking to Craig Bolton. Of course, Bolton was given a bad kick in the head early.
A little fumble by Gibbs after getting it from Murphy there.
Never seen a good kick in the head, by the way.
No. They're not dead yet, the Swans.
They're on life support.
They are. Houlihan gets the kick. Bouncing ball. Grundy wobbles it towards half forward. Kirk hands it up. Shaw wide. Tough ball to mark. Joseph thumps it out.
I think he chose the wrong target there. Yeah. Reece Shaw, he's kicking to his Premier. Why wouldn't you kick to Jesse White, the man that's hot? He's kicked 4. The big arms to reach up and mark the ball above his opponent's height, Brett Thornton. Give him a chance.
Gibbs on O'Keefe now would appear to be a more comfortable move for him.
Ablett got it from Kirk, caught. Had Pryor there. O'Keefe, he's caught. Great tackling, good harassment from the Blues, and Houlihan with a torpedo towards the wing. Favola comes hard, attacks it, takes it, dishes it. Umpire said he was out, but that'll do. Just the 3 goals for Brendan Favola, but as the guys have mentioned, he has fought hard for possessions up the field, to tackle, to be a part of it. It's been good, Fev. Jolly and Hampson. Toe poke, clear. Judd. High kick to Cruiser. Can't get near it. Manhandled. Toes it off the deck. Favola can't get near it. Towed away from him. Still a chance, Judd. Overran it, left it behind. Goods went off the deck. Fisher out wide. And it carries. It's out on the full. 21 points the margin.
42,000 people in the Dome.
Another good crowd. Fantastic season. Seen some sensational games. And here at the Dome, we've had a few full houses for games that have been showstoppers from go to woe. Richards to Goods, and he can go. Some space. Spears that to Ablett. Good take in the hands. White lead short. It's ignored.
Too slow.
Blues getting numbers back. Jolly. Too far out to score.
Now he's one out long, Jesse White.
With each minute that ticks by, it's the death of the Swans. O'Keefe flies, can't mark. Anderson does well again. Gibbs, no fumble this time. Cruiser and Goods. Adam Goods takes control. Cruiser comes at him. Sells in the dummy, pokes the pass. Jutt. Oh, he was paid the mark and he didn't have it.
Blew the whistle too early, the umpire.
Nice body work nevertheless. Just going back to that kick from Darren Jolly. Chip kick into Ryan O'Keefe. Why wouldn't you back in Jesse White if you're going to back in Ryan O'Keefe 1 against 2?
Even the umpire's a little nervous and jumpy. 7 minutes gone, final term. Simpson.
This needs to be a good kick too, this one.
He holds it. Waits. O'Loughlin flies and marks. The kick really set on Johnson. Ablett. Lead short. Goods.
He's lifted big time, Goods, in the last 10 minutes of the third. He certainly started this last quarter well.
16 possessions, but no score against his name. He's the sort of player that can quickly kick 2 or 3 in a quarter to get them back in it.
Massive kick this. Takes some time, Adam Goods. From outside 50, it's across the face. And is that marked on the line? It is a behind. Thornton not paid the mark. Back to 20 points. Anderson. He's got Bentley out wide.
Right.
Tough one. Impossible. Bird cuts it off.
Nice work from Craig Bird, though.
Plays in the middle. Tough one for O'Keefe. Did well. A low trajectory kick. Got to him quickly.
Looking for Goods. Goods has gone deep forward.
McVeigh. He took the step. Played on. O'Loughlin really had to get the skates on. Couldn't get there. And the ball out of play. And that'll suit the Blues. It's 20 points. And we're 9 minutes in final term. Another hush. Jolly and Hampson. Stolen back by Jolly. Scoops it out. Chance here. Kick a goal from Jack. Misses.
Well, the good news for Sydney is at least they're creating opportunities. Scoring opportunities are coming. Unfortunately, they're behinds and not goals. And they desperately need goals to get back in the contest. But they're getting their hands on the footy again.
Now, does the time start?
Yeah, no, he's got to do it straight away. I think the umpire just told him. Play on. There it is.
And not a bad kick to Simpson. Russell controlling play. Yarran. Good fist though. Barlow sees it out. We'll get a ball in. 19 points the margin. Ton of time left. Hampson getting some work done. His groin looks a little dodgy, Sean Hampson. Goods doing some ruck work. Knocks it down towards Gibbs. He goes back and gets it. Barlow rolls it towards half forward. Bird attacks it hard. Vespremi. Bird. They've got it. He's got him. Can't get it up. Back again to Vespremi. White. Goods. He misses.
Gee, they could have kicked some goals, the Swans, couldn't they?
Really impressed, though, with the quick hands of Jesse White. Set up Adam Goods. It was electric, the handball.
It's an even 3-goal margin. Carazzo.
Well, it'll certainly kill off the Swans if they go down the other end and kick a goal now, the Blues.
She's got a big reach. He has got one of the longest reaches in the game.
Sends it towards Judd. Not a bad option.
Oh.
Clever Judd. Didn't mark it. Takes them on. Sends it long. Favola caught behind. Ted Richards.
You read that well, Ted. He's under some fire here, though.
Oh, what about the handball?
Gee, got out of that brilliantly, O'Keefe. Jude Bolton. Well, they have to take the game on, and they know it. O'Keefe gets the kick away. Got to push in the back. No free. Play on. Houlihan swoops. Wobbles it inside 50. Gibbs with the fly. Off hands. Yaron likewise. Hasn't seen a lot of it. Rolls it towards goal. McVeigh. They're a chance again, the Swans. Jude Bolton. They've got spare men down the middle. Jack.
Gotta go.
But hit the target.
Heads it wide. Vesprimi. Arm slap. No free. Hanbury. 3 to beat. Vesprimi makes it a 3-on-2. Bentley spins into trouble, gets the handball out. Simpson, Murphy, maybe for the knockout blow. Looks up, looks long, sends it all the way home.
Well, Jason, it was a critical battle on the wing. I guess the question mark on Kieran Jack as to whether he can become an A-grade midfielder is his kicking. It's not of high enough quality yet. And this one was a turnaround because he didn't quite hit the target. And the Blues just did it better with more numbers.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if it was a terrible kick as opposed to perhaps the wrong option. Kicking to Vespremi under pressure, but you miss goals at one end and then it goes to the other, and that's the nail in the coffin.
You mentioned high draft choices, a lot expected of Mark Murphy, still only 21 years of age. Does turn 22 this week coming, but still very young and outstanding player. From the ball up. Jack, a bit high, no free.
He is the new Brett Kirk, Kieran Jack.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic goer. There's no doubt about that. You can line him week in, week out.
Well, how is that not a free kick?
Needs to be a free kick.
He got an arm across the bridge of the nose.
Blues fans singing at the moment. They can celebrate 3 wins in a row for the first time since 2004. 24 points the margin. They're not home yet, but they're on the doorstep. Kirk. Ball towed away from him. Yaron found a yard there. Pounces, bounces, runs in and nails it. That's the Yaron Blues fans want to see.
Well, it was a controversial pick before Daniel Rich was young Chris Yaron. Brett Ratton is believed to have been delighted in this young man, what he saw, and I think Brett Ratton may well have been influential in his selection. Well, right here and right now is the first time he has repaid the faith of the coach. He'll have to do it 1,000 more times to justify it, but there's a beginning.
I dare say it's a confidence that few people experience when you can have an opponent on your hammer and then just have a bounce knowing he's not going to catch it. It must give you a wonderful comfort.
30 points the margin now. Biggest lead of the game. Cruiser over the top to Goods. Houlihan maybe got a little toe on it. Kirk pushing the back.
Been a tough afternoon for Brett Kirk. He's had 16 possessions. Very poor efficiency as far as he's concerned. He's not normally a pretty kick, but he gets the job done. He gets the ball to the right areas, but they've jumped on him all day.
They have. He's not getting any younger. Turns 33 in October. Matner held up. Played 15 minutes final term. Goods. Uncharacteristic fumble. Cruiser. Matner. Gee, he kept his feet well there. Well balanced to Kirk. To Roberts Thompson. Houlihan. Not 15, but as good as a mark. Murphy. They've got the spare man here. Carazzo looks up. He's got to give it to Cruiser. He's running Cruiser. He wants to get on the end of this one. Russell goes back. Cruiser finally gets it from Carazzo.
Fev one out. He wants it quickly. Here he comes.
Oh, it's in space too. It would have been harder to get out of the way of that. Fev on the move. Cruiser hits him lace out.
Yeah, for a big bloke, that's not bad delivery, Jared.
He's a star, young Cruiser. Yeah, he is an absolute star. There's higher honours that the Blues are waiting him, I reckon. But it all started at the other end of the ground when Houlihan just produced some absolute magic.
Gee, it's a good kick.
For a 36-point margin. for 42,000 fans to rise for the man they love more than any other Blue. He's got 4.
It'll be an interesting debate. The man they love more than the other. Where does Chris Judd rate in that?
Yeah, he's obviously number 2. Although, there it is, the interception. Lewis Roberts-Thompson had his pocket picked. And at the other end of the ground, it was finished off with a beautiful pass. And a good mark and finish from Fev.
Yeah, they're not in September yet, but at least they've penciled themselves into the top 8 for the time being with this victory. Jude Bolton feeding it back, the 1-2s. Matner, Shaw, Jolly, Barlow, O'Loughlin.
I think what he does deliver the ball well, Ed Barlow. He's made a few mistakes throughout the course of the day, but he can use the football particularly well.
O'Loughlin knows he's too far out to score.
Well, he's taken too many marks in some regards on that 50.
Goods.
If he's going to play that role for the rest of his career, the deep forward, it's best for him, I guess, to take them within his goal-kicking distance, which now appears to be 35 metres or inside.
Sydney Swans play Melbourne next week at Manuka, but they'd have to win 5 of their last 6 games to be a chance to make the 8, and it's doubtful they'll do that. So they'll miss the finals for the first time under Paul Roos, you would think, the Swans, and it is the end of an era. It's always a disappointing time when you know the game's beyond you, but even more disappointing when you know the finals are beyond you, and that's exactly what the Swans face in these dying minutes of this game.
That was a good kick.
Yaron off the deck. Long. Cruiser, Favola, they attack it. Favola, slick.
Well
Eddie Betts looks up. Grigg, no one in the square. Throws it up high. Ted Richards getting back. It's all about the bounce. It was a bomb. And Ted Richards did brilliantly. McVeigh. Matner. Ablett. Houlihan. Judd. To reload them, as he so often does. Houlihan out wide at Carazzo. He does. He knocks it to Simpson, who might just go the journey here. Bounces inside 50. Icing on the cake.
Significant difference in leg speed today as the match war has worn on. It's become increasingly obvious that they have a distinct advantage in getting over the ground, the Blues, and they have really just run the Swans ragged, Jerry.
They have. As much as the Swans worked really hard, I don't think their second and third rotation was good enough to go with the Blues, and they've worn them down, as you said, and after half-time, the likes of Simpson, Judd came to the fore.
And I think all of a sudden you've got players at the club and leaders at the club that are demanding a much higher level of intensity and performance from the rest of the playing group.
Slick use of the ball again from the Blues. They've looked a lot better after half-time. Carazzo manhandled by Jude Bolton. Murphy mops it up. Here's to Simpson. And again uses the speed for the 1-2 with Carazzo. Takes them on. Sends it long. Favola. Yeah! Oh, yeah!
He's so strong now, Fev. He's done a lot of work over the last 12 months on the upper body, and that's the reason why. Craig Bolton's no slouch in the strength department, and he was good enough just to know that the kick from Simpson was absolutely perfectly positioned for him to hold him out with the right side and grab it with the left.
And he fists the air. He's got a fistful. He's got 5.
A bit of a roar as he was coming in to take his kick. That was the reception for Chris Judd, having a well-earned spell. He's really opened up in the second half, as has Cade Simpson, the man delivering the ball forward to Chris Judd. He's up to 29 possessions, and he's been the one that's really given them run and carry across the turf to get the Blues up and running in the second half.
Well, it won't be the 99-goal season that he had last year, Brendan Favola, but it could be more important than that with 75 or 80. It all depends on what he does in September. 5 for the afternoon and 3 minutes from full time. Maybe there's 1 or 2 left in him. Goods, arms free, got a kick away. Bentley playing for his footy life, lays the tackle. Richards inboard, Bevan, and that's a wide ball. It'll be a ball in.
Disappointing finish. It deserved better. The handball from Ryan O'Keefe was world class. Took the tackle and still delivered.
Goods trying to shark it. Carazzo falls onto it. Cruiser back on and back in the possessions. Simpson again. Rolls it toward the wing. Greek wrapped up. Mattner again with that bear hug. Takes him down. Ball up. 30 possessions now for Cade Simpson. Chris Judd, who had 11 to half-time, now has 26. And Brendan Favola, who only had 1 goal to half-time, has kicked 4 in this half, now has 5.
I think we showed a stat prior to the start of the game. When Carlton win, he averages 4.7 goals.
Yep.
Got the average up again, hasn't he?
He's right.
And when they lose, he averages 2.5, and he was on track for 2.5 at half-time when they looked like they might lose.
Well, they just didn't have anywhere near enough possessions in the first half. They were some 100 possessions behind Sydney, and that's...
There's still 80 possessions down, which is quite amazing, Jared, isn't it?
It is, but it means it's stabilised it, I guess. And they're going 1 for 1 since half-time. They haven't caught up.
Centering ball, goal square. Anderson with another fist. Vespremi with the crumb. Put his arms free. Cruiser. So they're behind. Back to 48 points. But they're not wasting any time. Release kick from Thornton, who signed the new contract this week to stay at the club for another couple of years. To Gibbs, to Scotland, to Favola. Eddie Betts peeling off. Favola puts it up for him one-on-one. It's a long ball. Betts! Oh, he had a big piece of that. Still gets a chance. Spins it around the body. Oh, it's party time. Easy as you like.
Well, it's a timely reminder, I think, from Heath Scotland of what he can do. I think he's a player that is going to be real upside for the Blues if he can get back to absolute top form. He's been missing for a few weeks now, only 11 possessions, but I think he's really creative. And this is a good bit of work from Eddie Betts. Long kick in from Fev, and then Betts is better.
Well, this has been going on for a while. Patrick Vespremi was just in the hands of the trainer. And while the Swans trainer was attending to him, Joseph was continuing to push him. A little elbow in the back. And Vespremi lashed out a couple of times, not appreciating the treatment. But as a young bloke, he needs to learn that he's going to cop it.
Cruiser just getting his own clearances now. Shaw slung 360. Goods. Yaron chased him down, but he got the handball to Bird. Wide kick from Smith. Bevan can't mark. And getting back Gibbs. Kick good to Murphy.
They've stopped to a walk, the Swans.
They're going to lose by, well, the best part of 10 goals, if not 10 even.
It's a belting, but they can't keep up with the Blues. The Blues are running them ragged now.
You mentioned Eddie Betts being better, Jared. That was the banner for the Blues at the start of the game. Goods might be good, but Betts is better. And Favola can't take the mark here. Betts about to crumb it again. Russell, he threads his way through.
Ted Richards is really sore.
It was a pretty heavy clash. He was the one coming back to try and cut off the Fev lead, and he's been poleaxed.
He's got the
Yeah, but look, he comes from the front, eyes on the footy.
Oh, yeah.
He's copped a lot, hasn't he?
Yes.
Great courage.
And they could well stop the game.
Oh,
He's splattered
out.
with blood. They
He's
need to
out.
stop the game here. That's
He's-
an ugly sight.
Copped it to the mouth.
Well, let's hope it was the mouth. In
Yeah,
some
not
ways, 'cause
something from inside.
Yeah, that's where I think it might be.
So the game will be stopped here. The umpires, Brett Roseberry right there, knowing how horrible this situation looks.
Well, he has copped it. He's copped the knee right into the ribs, Jared.
Yeah. He
Landed heavily on the ground.
He might have caught one in the mouth from Craig Bolton as well. No, he looks like didn't get any facial stuff. So
Gee, that's even worse than if he's bleeding.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's coughing it up from inside. He was in serious distress when he hit the deck. That knee from Favola. And look, not deliberate by Brendan Favola. He's flying for the mark. He's got his eyes on the footy, but that is incredible courage from Ted Richards to put himself in that position.
He's going straight down the race. Let's hope he's okay. Sad end to the game for the Sydney Swans. They've got their big Hall of Fame function tonight. Competitive for the majority of the game, but they've been blown away in this last quarter and a bit. McVeigh behind Grundy. Maybe one last chance for a score for Favola. He's hunting this down. Bouncing ball. Tries a trick or two. Still going. Gets the kick away. Extracts it to the pocket. Matner sidesteps a couple, but he's turned it over, and Gibbs will have the last say with a shot at goal to maybe